The great chamber of Station Velos Prime had never been so quiet. 847 species filled the massive room. They came from every corner of the galaxy. Some had scales, some had feathers, some had bodies made of living crystal. But today, they all shared the same expression. Fear High Counselor Veller stood at the center platform. He was old, even by the standards of his long-lived species. His gray skin was wrinkled like ancient paper. His 4 eyes had seen empires rise and fall. But his hands were shaking today. The holographic displays around the chamber showed the war. The Thal Dominion had attacked the Kellari Federation 3 months ago. 12 star systems burned. Billions of lives lost. The war spread like a disease across the galaxy. "We must find a solution," Veller said. His voice echoed through the chamber. "This war threatens all of us." A loud laugh cut through the silence. Warlord Crix of the Thal Dominion stepped forward. He was massive. His red armor gleamed under the lights. His face was built for war, with sharp teeth and small, cruel eyes. "There is no solution to find," Crix said. "The Kellari are weak. My dominion is strong. This war will end when I decide it ends." Veller closed his eyes for a moment. "Warlord Crix, the Council asks you to consider peace negotiations." Crix laughed again. "I did not come here to negotiate. I came here to inform you of my plans." He pressed a button on his wrist. A star map appeared in the center of the chamber. "My fleet will take this route to reach the Kellari homeworld. It is the fastest path." The chamber looked at the map. The route cut through a small, unremarkable solar system near the edge of the galaxy. A yellow star. 8 planets. One of them was blue and green dot. Earth, the silence that followed, was different from before. It was not the silence of concern. It was the silence of terror. Ambassador Mora of the Vesh dropped her translation device. It clattered on the floor. No one moved to help her pick it up. Her 3 eyes were wide with horror. A delegate from the Crystalline Consortium actually cracked. A piece of his body fell off and shattered on the ground. He did not seem to notice. Veller gripped the edge of his podium. His gray skin had turned pale. "Warlord Crix," he said slowly, "please tell me you are joking." Crix frowned. "Why would I joke? The Sol system is barely defended. A primitive species lives there. They have only had faster-than-light travel for 60 years. My empire has ruled for 10,000 years. They are nothing." "They are humans," Veller said. The word moved through the chamber like a cold wind. Several delegates stood up and walked toward the exits. They did not run, but they moved quickly. They wanted to be far away from this conversation. Crix watched them leave with confusion. "What is wrong with everyone? I have studied these humans. They are soft. They are small. They fight among themselves constantly. They are no threat to anyone." Veller took a deep breath. He pressed a button on his podium. "Council members, please return to your seats. Warlord Crix needs to understand." The delegates stopped walking. They turned around, but they did not sit down. They stood near the exits, ready to leave at any moment. Veller looked at Crix with something close to pity. "Warlord, I am going to show you something. This footage is classified at the highest level. Only 12 beings in this galaxy have seen it. After today, you will be the 13th. The holographic display changed. It showed a planet. A beautiful world with purple oceans and silver forests. The Vesh homeworld. 30 years ago, Veller said, the Vesh made first contact with humanity. There was a misunderstanding. A Vesh patrol ship fired on a human cargo vessel. 12 humans died. Crick shrugged. A small number. What happened next? The footage changed. It showed space above the Vesh homeworld. At first, there was nothing. Then, ships began to appear. Human ships. Hundreds of them. 6 months after the incident, Veller continued, the humans arrived at the Vesh homeworld. They did not attack. They simply appeared. Their ships used technology that our scientists still do not understand. They built this fleet in 6 months, Warlord. Secret. While they were grieving, Ambassador Mora finally spoke. Her voice was barely a whisper. My grandmother was on the council at that time. She received a message from the human commander. He said, "We came to show you what we built while we were sad. Imagine what we will build if we become angry." Crix stared at the footage. For the first time, he did not look so confident. This proves nothing. They did not attack. They were afraid. They were not afraid, Veller said. They were being kind. They were giving the Vesh a chance to apologize. He turned off the display. The Vesh apologized. They paid reparations. They signed a peace treaty that still stands today. And then the humans went home. They took their fleet and left. They did not ask for territory. They did not ask for power. They only wanted the Vesh to understand one thing. What? Crix asked. Veller looked directly into the warlord's eyes. That they could have destroyed everything. But they chose not to. That time, the chamber was silent. Crix's generals shifted uncomfortably behind him. One of them, General Bellin, looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. Veller stepped down from his podium. He walked toward Crix until they stood face to face. The old counselor barely reached the warlord's chest. But in that moment, Crix took a step backward. Warlord Crix, Veller said. On behalf of the Galactic Unity Council, on behalf of 847 species, on behalf of everyone who wants to live, I am begging you. His voice cracked. Leave Earth out of this war. Crix stood still for a long moment. Then he laughed. It was not a confident laugh anymore. It sounded forced. You are all cowards, he said. Scared of primitives. My fleet will pass through the Sol system. If the humans try to stop me, I will crush them. He turned and walked toward the exit. His generals followed. General Bellin looked back once, his face pale. The doors closed behind them. Veller stood alone in the center of the chamber. He suddenly looked very old and very tired. Send a message to Earth, he said quietly. Apologize in advance for what is about to happen. He sat down heavily in his chair. And pray that they show mercy. Because the Thal Dominion will need it. Ambassador Mara picked up her translation device with trembling hands. What do we do now? Veller closed all four of his eyes. We watch. And we hope that Crix surrenders before the humans get creative. No one in the chamber believed that would happen. Ambassador Mara sat in her private chamber after the council meeting ended. Her hands still trembled. She had not thought about the old stories for many years. Now they came flooding back. Her communication device blinked. The Vesh High Command wanted a full report. They wanted to understand why Mara had been so frightened. Why the entire council had been so frightened. Mara took a deep breath and began to speak. High Command, I will explain everything. But first you must understand how the galaxy discovered humanity. She pulled up old records on her display. Star charts from 60 years ago. We found Earth when humans tested their first warp drive. Every species in the galaxy detected the energy signature. It was impossible to miss. She paused. But the signature was wrong. Completely wrong. The records showed the readings from that day. Energy levels that should have torn the ship apart. Radiation that should have killed everyone inside. A design that broke every known law of safe space travel. Their warp drive should not have worked, Mora continued. Our scientists said it was impossible. The humans did not care about impossible. They built it anyway. They tested it anyway. It worked anyway. She shook her head. That was our first warning. Humans do not follow the rules of the universe. They simply refuse to accept them. The Vesh High Command listened in silence. Mara continued with the story everyone in the galaxy knew. The story of first contact. The story of her grandmother's greatest mistake. My grandmother was a patrol commander 30 years ago. Her ship detected a human cargo vessel entering Vesh space. The humans did not respond to hails correctly. They used the wrong communication frequency. My grandmother thought they were ignoring her. She fired a warning shot. Mara closed her 3 eyes. The warning shot hit the human ship. 12 humans died. Men, women, 2 children. It was an accident, someone from High Command said. Surely the humans understood. They understood, Mara said. They understood that we killed their people. Accident or not, 12 humans were dead. And then we learned the first terrible truth about humanity. She pulled up more records. Images from the 6 months after the incident. Humans do not grieve like other species. When we lose someone, we become sad. We become quiet. We need time to heal. Humans are different. When humans lose someone they love, they become focused. They become determined. They work. The images showed factories on Earth running day and night. Shipyards that did not exist before suddenly appearing. Millions of humans working together with a single purpose. In 6 months, they built 400 warships. From nothing, they studied our technology from the debris of the cargo ship we destroyed. They copied it. They improved it. They made weapons we still do not understand. Mora's voice grew quiet. And then they came to our homeworld. High Command remained silent. They did not attack. They simply arrived. 400 ships appearing from nowhere. Our entire defense fleet could not have stopped them. They knew it. We knew it. And then their commander sent a message. Mara played the recording. A human male appeared on screen. He was middle-aged, with gray hair and calm eyes. His voice was soft. People of Vesh, 6 months ago, you killed 12 of our citizens. We have come to show you what we built during our grief. We did this while we were sad. Imagine what we will build if we become angry. We do not want war. We want understanding. You have 1 week to respond. The recording ended. We apologized immediately, Morris said. We paid every reparation they asked for. We signed every treaty they wanted. And then they left. They took their fleet and went home. They did not take our territory. They did not demand our surrender. They only wanted us to understand. Understand what? High Command asked. That they were being kind? That they could have destroyed us. That they chose not to. Mora leaned forward. High Command, I have studied humans for 30 years. I have lived among them. I have eaten their food and learned their languages. And I need you to understand why the Council is so afraid. She began to list the facts. Humans come from a Class 12 death world. Their planet is covered in extreme environments. Deserts that boil, oceans that freeze, mountains that touch the sky. They evolved alongside predators, diseases, natural disasters, and each other. Other species have difficult homeworlds, someone pointed out. It's not like Earth. Earth is actively trying to kill everything on it, and humans survived anyway. Do you know how they hunted before they developed technology? They chased their prey, not quickly, like normal predators. Slowly, they followed animals for days, walking, never stopping, never giving up, until the animal collapsed from exhaustion and died. Humans call this persistence hunting. They are the only species in the galaxy that hunts by being too stubborn to quit. High Command was silent. But it gets worse, Mara continued. Humans do not sleep properly. Most species need long rest periods. Humans can function on minimal sleep during times of stress. They become worse at thinking clearly, but they become more dangerous. They call this running on adrenaline. Oh, that sounds like a weakness. It is not. It means humans can fight longer than any other species. They can work longer. They can suffer longer. And they do not stop. Mara pulled up more data. Humans also bond emotionally with almost anything. Other humans, animals, objects, they form attachments that defy logic. They will die to protect things they love. They will die to avenge things they love. This is not rational. This is not strategic. But it makes them terrifying. She saved the worst for last. Humans have a concept that does not exist in any other known language. They call it spite. It means hurting yourself to hurt your enemy. Accepting pain to cause pain. Losing everything to make sure your opponent loses more. She paused. No other species thinks this way. We fight to win. We fight to survive. Humans will fight to make sure you lose even if they cannot win. They consider this a victory. High Command said nothing for a long time. 30 years ago, Mora finished, the galaxy learned an important lesson. Do not threaten humanity. Do not hurt humanity. Do not make them sad. And never, ever make them angry. We have lived in peace with Earth for 3 decades because every species understands this simple truth. She thought about Warlord Crix marching through the Sol system with his fleet. Crix believes his 10,000-year-old empire makes him powerful. He does not understand. Humans united their entire planet in 200 years. They did this while fighting each other constantly. They are not primitive. They are not weak. Awara stood up from her chair. They are patient. And Crix is about to run out of time. She ended the transmission and walked to her window. The stars were beautiful tonight. Somewhere out there, the Thal fleet was moving toward Earth. Ambassador Mora wondered if Crix would surrender before it was too late. She hoped he would. Not for his sake. For the sake of everyone who would have to watch what happened next. Humans were kind. Humans were generous. Humans could be the best friends anyone could ask for, but they could also be the last enemy anyone would ever have. 3 weeks passed. The galaxy watched and waited. Warlord Crix led his fleet of 200 warships toward the Sol system. His officers were nervous. They had heard the stories about humans, but Crix refused to listen. He called them cowards. He called them fools. He said the council had been tricked by human propaganda. 200 ships, Crix said to his generals. The humans have 40 registered vessels. We outnumber them 5 to 1. There is nothing to fear. General Bellin stood behind his warlord. He did not share Crix's confidence. He had read the classified reports. He had seen the footage from the Vesh incident. But Crix did not want to hear warnings. Crix only wanted victory. The Thal fleet entered the Sol system on a cold morning by Earth's calendar. They passed the outer planets without slowing down. Neptune, Uranus, Saturn with its beautiful rings, Jupiter with its endless storms. Nothing stopped them. You see, Crix said, the humans are hiding. They know they cannot defeat us. Then a single ship appeared in front of the fleet. It was small compared to the Thal warships. Sleek and gray, with clean lines and no visible weapons. The name on its hull read Stillwater. Captain Park Doyon sat in the command chair of his ship. He was a calm man in his 50s, with gray hair and tired eyes. He had served in Earth's defense fleet for 30 years. He had hoped he would never have to use his training. He opened a communication channel. Attention, Thal fleet. You are entering protected space. Please state your intentions and await escort. His voice was polite, patient, almost friendly. Crix laughed when he heard the message. One ship? They send one ship to stop us? He leaned forward in his command chair. Human vessel, move aside. We are passing through your system. Do not interfere. Captain Doyon did not move his ship. Warlord Crix, the Galactic Council has laws about entering another species' territory without permission. Please stop your fleet and wait for proper authorization. I do not answer to the Council, Crix said. And I do not answer to you. Move aside, or I will move you. There was a pause. When Doyon spoke again, his voice was the same, calm, patient. I understand, but I must insist that you follow proper procedures. We can resolve this peacefully. Crix was tired of talking. He wanted to show the galaxy that humans were nothing special. He wanted to prove that the stories were lies. Fire a warning shot, he ordered. Near the human ship, show them we are serious. General Bell stepped forward. Warlord, I must advise against this. The reports clearly state that humans respond poorly to, I said fire. The weapons officer hesitated. Then he obeyed. A massive energy beam shot from the Thal flagship. It was aimed to pass close to the Stillwater. Close enough to shake the ship. Close enough to frighten the human captain, but space is vast, and calculations can be wrong. The beam missed the Stillwater. It kept going. It hit a small research station hidden behind an asteroid. The station exploded in a flash of light and fire. The bridge of the Thal flagship was silent. What was that? Crix demanded. What did we hit? The sensors officer, checked his readings. His face went pale. A civilian research station, Warlord. Human scientists. 3 life signs detected before impact. He swallowed. No survivors. Crix stared at the screen. He had not meant to kill anyone. Not yet. Not like this. On the still water, Captain Doyon received the same information. He looked at the names of the dead. Dr. Yoon Min-ho, Dr. Lee Guan, Dr. Beek Suji, scientists who had spent their lives studying the stars. Gone in a flash of light. Dr. Yoon Min-ho, the younger brother of Dr. Yoon Nari, Earth's chief xenobiologist. Doyon closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, something had changed. His face was still calm. His voice was still patient. But there was something cold behind his eyes. Thal Fleet, he said slowly. You have killed 3 citizens of Earth. I am returning to my home world to report this incident. Do not leave this system. Then the Stillwater turned and flew toward Earth. It did not fire. It did not threaten. It simply left. Crix watched it go. He felt something strange in his chest. Something he had not felt in a very long time. Fear. "Ah, they are running away," one of his officers said. "They are cowards, after all." Crix did not believe that. The look in the human captain's eyes had not been fear. It had been something else. Something worse. Patience 4 hours later. Every communication device in the Thal fleet received a message at the same time. Every screen, every speaker, every personal device, all of them showed the same face. Admiral Kim So-min. She was a woman in her 60s, with white hair pulled back in a tight bun. Her face was lined with age, but her eyes were sharp. She wore a simple gray uniform with no medals, no decorations. She did not need them. Her reputation was enough, Warlord Crix, she said. Her voice was soft, grandmotherly. My name is Admiral Kim So-min. I am the head of Earth's United Defense Council. I have received a report that your fleet killed 3 of our citizens. She paused. She smiled. It was not a kind smile. You have 48 hours to surrender your entire fleet. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier. You will submit to human custody and stand trial for your crimes. She folded her hands in front of her. This is not a negotiation. This is not a request. This is a courtesy. We are giving you a chance to end this peacefully. She leaned closer to the camera. If you refuse, we will take your fleet from you. We will not destroy it. We will not kill your soldiers. We will simply take everything you have. And then we will try you for murder. Her smile disappeared. 48 hours, Warlord? Use them wisely. The transmission ended. Crix sat in his command chair, frozen. His officers looked at each other with wide eyes. General Belm's hands were shaking. Warlord Belm said quietly, I am detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. They are coming from everywhere behind asteroids, inside gas clouds, near every planet. What kind of signatures? Crix demanded. Belm checked his readings again. He did not want to believe them. Ships, Warlord. Human ships. Hundreds of them. Looked up at Crix with terror in his eyes. They were already here. They were already prepared. They were waiting for us to make a mistake. Crix stared at the sensor display. The Sol system was filled with hidden ships, an invisible army that had been watching them from the moment they arrived. The humans had known this would happen. They had been ready. And now, Crix understood why the galaxy was so afraid. The Galactic Unity Council watched from Station Velos Prime. Every screen in the chamber showed the Sol system. Every delegate held their breath. High Counselor Veller stood at the center of the room. His 4 eyes were fixed on the display. 47 hours had passed since Admiral Summon's message. 1 hour remained. Has Crix responded? Someone asked. No, Veller said quietly. He believes the humans are bluffing. Ambassador Mara shook her head. Humans do not bluff. They promise. And they always keep their promises. In the Sol system, Warlord Crix paced the bridge of his flagship. His officers watched him nervously. General Belln stood in the corner, silent and pale. "We have 200 warships," Crix said. "The largest fleet in the quadrant. The humans have only 40 registered vessels. Even if they have more hidden ships, they cannot defeat us." Warlord Bell said carefully, "The energy signature suggests at least 400 ships, maybe more. And we do not know what weapons they carry." "Then we will find out." Crix turned to his weapons officer. "When the deadline passes, we attack. Full power to all weapons. We will burn their ships and continue our journey."
Ow.
No one argued. No one had the courage. The clock counted down. On Earth, Admiral Kim So-man sat in her command center. Screens surrounded her, showing every ship in her fleet. Captain Park Do-yeon's face appeared on one of them. "The deadline is almost up," he said. "Crix has not surrendered." So-man nodded slowly. "I expected this." He is proud. "Pride makes people stupid." "Orders, Admiral?" So-man was quiet for a moment. She thought about the 3 scientists who died. Dr. Yoon Min-ho had been working on a study of alien migration patterns. He had admired the Thal culture. He had written papers about their history. And now he was dead because a warlord wanted to show off. "Disable their fleet," So-man said. "Every ship. I want 0 casualties on both sides if possible. We are not murderers." "And Crix, bring him to me. Alive. He will stand trial like any other criminal." "Understood. 40 seconds to deadline." So-man looked at the countdown clock. "Show them what humanity can do when we are gentle." The deadline arrived. In space, nothing seemed to happen at first. The Thal fleet held position. Crix watched his sensors, waiting for the human attack. Then the sun flickered. It was subtle. A tiny change in the light. Most species would not have noticed. But the Thal sensors detected it. Something had passed between the fleet and the sun. Something big, then ships began to appear. They came from everywhere. From behind asteroids, from inside dust clouds, from the shadows of moons. 400 human warships decloaked at the same moment. They surrounded the Thal fleet in a perfect sphere, every angle covered, every escape route blocked. Lieutenant Choi Tae-woo sat in the cockpit of his fighter. He was young, barely 30, with a wild grin on his face. His squad had been hiding behind Saturn's rings for 3 weeks, waiting for this moment. "Surprise," he said over the open channel. On the Galactic Council's screens, the delegates watched in horror. The human fleet was twice the size of Crix's. They had been invisible until now. "How is this possible?" Someone whispered. "How did they hide so many ships?" Veller did not answer. He knew how. The humans had been preparing for this moment since the Vesh incident 30 years ago. They had built ships in secret. They had developed technology that no one understood. They had waited because humans were patient. And now their patience was over. Warlord Crix stared at the sensor display. 400 ships? They had been here the whole time, watching, waiting, letting him fly deeper into the trap. "All ships," he ordered, "open fire." The Thal fleet unleashed everything they had. Hundreds of energy beams shot toward the human ships. The space between them lit up like a star. The human shields absorbed everything. Not a single beam got through. Not a single ship was damaged. The Thal weapons, weapons that had destroyed 100 worlds, did nothing. Then the humans fired back. Their weapons were different. They did not shoot to kill. They shot to disable. Precise beams hit the Thal engines, power systems, weapons, one by one. The Thal ships went dark. The battle lasted 11 minutes. When it was over, every single Thal warship was disabled. Not destroyed, disabled, floating in space with no power, no weapons, no engines. 200 ships captured without a single death on either side. Lieutenant Tae-woo flew his fighter past the Thal flagship. He waved at the bridge windows where Crix stood frozen. "Thanks for visiting Earth," Tae-woo said cheerfully. "Please don't come back." Boarding parties moved through the disabled ships. Human soldiers in advanced armor secured every corridor, every room, every prisoner. They were efficient and professional. They did not hurt anyone who surrendered. General Belnay put down his weapon immediately. He ordered his soldiers to do the same. He had known this would happen. He had tried to warn Crix. Crix did not surrender so easily. He fought the boarding party with his bare hands. It took 12 soldiers to bring him down. They used stun weapons, not lethal force. Admiral Soman had been very clear about that. Captain Do-Yan boarded the flagship last. He walked through the corridors slowly, checking on his soldiers, making sure no one was hurt. When he reached the bridge, Crix was on his knees with his hands bound. Do-Yan looked at the warlord. He did not gloat. He did not threaten. He simply stood there, tired and sad. "You killed 3 of our people," Do-Yan said quietly. Dr. Yoon Min-ho, Dr. Lee Guan, Dr. Baek Suji. They were scientists. They wanted to understand the universe. They never hurt anyone. Crix spat at Do-Yan's feet. "I will destroy your entire species." "No," Do-Yan said. "You will stand trial for 3 counts of manslaughter. That is all. That is all we ever wanted, Justice." He turned to his soldiers. "Take him to Earth. Treat him well. He is a prisoner, not an animal." As Crix was led away, Do-Yan stood alone on the bridge. Through the windows, he could see the disabled fleet. 200 ships captured in 11 minutes. He thought about what his father had said 30 years ago. "We came to show you what we built while we were sad. Imagine what we will build if we become angry." The humans had never become truly angry. Not yet. This had been gentle. This had been merciful. Do-Yan hoped they would never have to show the galaxy what happened when they stopped being gentle on Station Velos Prime. The council chamber was silent. The delegates had watched everything. They had seen the most powerful fleet in the quadrant neutralized in less than 15 minutes. "Hi, Counselor." Vela received a message from Admiral Soman. He read it aloud with trembling hands. "The war criminal is in custody. His fleet will be returned after repairs. We expect the Thal Dominion to cover the cost of repairs and reparations for the families of our fallen citizens." Veller paused. His voice cracked on the next words. "Also our condolences for any distress this incident caused the Council. We tried to be gentle." Ambassador Mora sat down heavily in her chair. "They called that gentle," she whispered. 400 ships, 11 minutes, 0 deaths, and they called it gentle. Valar could not stop his hands from shaking. "Now, do you understand why we begged Crix to leave Earth alone?" No one answered. No one needed to. The galaxy had just learned why humanity was the most terrifying species in existence. Not because they were violent, but because they chose not to be. 6 months passed. The galaxy changed. Warlord Crix stood in a human courtroom on Earth. He wore simple gray clothes instead of his red armor. His hands were not bound. No soldiers pointed weapons at him. He was treated like any other person accused of a crime. This confused him more than anything else. The judge was an old human woman with kind eyes and a stern voice. The jury was made of 12 ordinary human citizens. They had watched the evidence. They had heard the testimony. Now they delivered their verdict. "Warlord Crix of the Thal Dominion," the judge said. "This court finds you guilty of 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter. The deaths of Dr. Yoon Min-ho, Dr. Lee Juan, and Dr. Baek Suji were caused by your reckless actions." Crix expected death. He expected torture. He expected everything his own empire would have done to a defeated enemy. "You are sentenced to 15 years of rehabilitation and community service. You will work to understand the species you have harmed. You will learn about the people you killed. And when your sentence is complete, you will be returned to your people." Crix stared at the judge. "That is all? You do not execute me?" The judge looked at him with something close to pity. "We are not monsters, Warlord. We do not kill prisoners. We believe in second chances. We hope that someday you will understand why your actions were wrong." Observers from the Galactic Council watched from the back of the courtroom. They had expected blood. They had expected revenge. They found something much stranger. Justice Ambassador Mora sent a report to the Council that night. "Humans could have destroyed Crix," she wrote. "They could have destroyed his entire fleet. his entire empire. Instead, they captured him, tried him in a civilian court, and sentenced him to rehabilitation. They want him to become a better person. They believe this is possible. High Counselor Veller read the report 3 times. He did not understand humans. He was not sure anyone ever would. Without Crix and his fleet, the Thal Dominion could not continue their war. The Kalari Federation was saved. Peace talks began within weeks. The war that had threatened to consume the galaxy ended because humanity took away the Dominion's favorite weapon, and humanity asked for nothing in return. No territory, no resources, no tribute. They simply asked for one thing: a seat at the table. "We want to join the Galactic Unity Council," Admiral Soman explained to Veller. "Not to conquer, not to control. We want to make sure misunderstandings like this never happen again. We want to be part of the conversation." Veller agreed immediately. Every species in the council agreed. No one wanted to risk offending humanity now, Dr. Yoon. Nari was appointed as Earth's first official ambassador to the Galactic Council. She arrived at Station Velos Prime wearing a simple blue dress and carrying a box of cookies she had baked herself. "I made these for everyone," she said with a warm smile. "They are chocolate chip, my brother's favorite recipe." The delegates stared at her. This woman had lost her brother because of Crix's arrogance. She had every reason to hate the galaxy. Instead, she brought cookies. "I know what you are thinking," Nari said as she handed out her gifts. "You are wondering why I am not angry? Why I am not demanding revenge?" She sat down in her new seat, the seat reserved for Earth. "My brother spent his life trying to understand other species. He believed that all intelligent beings could learn to live together in peace. He died believing that." She looked around the chamber at the 847 species who watched her. "I am here to prove he was right." On Earth, Captain Park Do-Yan visited the memorial for the 3 fallen scientists. Their names were carved in stone: Dr. Yoon Min-ho, Dr. Lee Guan, Dr. Beek Suji. Fresh flowers covered the ground. People came every day to pay their respects. Do-Yan stood alone in front of the memorial. He spoke quietly, as if the dead could hear him. "We built an armada because we lost 12 people 30 years ago. We captured a fleet because we lost 3. Paused. "I wonder sometimes what we would build if we ever truly went to war. What we would become if we stopped holding back." He placed a flower at the base of the memorial. "I hope we never find out." The Galactic Council met 1 month later to discuss new laws. The session was unusual. Every species agreed on everything. There was no debate, no argument, no disagreement. A new law was added to the Galactic Charter. No military action shall be conducted within 5 light years of the Sol system without explicit human authorization. Any violation of this law will be considered an act of war against all member species. The vote was unanimous. After the meeting, a young alien child asked her parent a question. They were walking through the gardens of Station Velos Prime, looking at plants from 100 different worlds. "Why is everyone afraid of the humans?" the child asked. "They seem nice." The ambassador gave me a cookie. The parent knelt down to look at the child. "They are nice," she said carefully. "That is why we are afraid. I do not understand." The parent thought for a moment. Humans do not want to hurt anyone. They want to make friends. They want to share cookies and tell stories and learn about other cultures. They are kind and generous and warm. That does not sound scary. It is not. Until someone hurts them. Until someone takes something they love. The parent's voice grew serious. Then they stop being kind. They become focused. They become determined. And they do not stop until they have made things right. Not revenge. Not destruction. Just justice. Perfect, terrible justice. The child thought about this. So, they are scary because they are too nice. They are scary because they could be the most dangerous species in the galaxy if they wanted to be. But they choose to be kind instead. Every day, they choose kindness. And if you make them choose something else, the parent did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. In orbit above Earth, Lieutenant Choi Taiwu floated in the recreation area of the orbital station. A group of alien exchange students surrounded him. They were young members of various species who had come to Earth. To study humans up close, Taiwu was teaching them how to play video games. No. No, no, he said, laughing as one of the students accidentally drove their character off a cliff. You have to look where you are going. This game makes no sense, a Vesh student complained. Why would anyone drive a vehicle so recklessly? Because it is fun, Taiwu said with a grin. Humans like fun. Even dangerous fun. Especially dangerous fun. The students exchanged nervous glances, but then they laughed too. Being around humans was strange. They were terrifying and silly at the same time. Dangerous and playful. Warriors and children. Taiwu lost the next round badly. He demanded a rematch immediately. Somewhere on Earth, Admiral Kim Salman finally took a vacation. She sat on a beach, watching the waves roll in. The sun was warm. The sky was blue. For the first time in years, she was not thinking about war. Her communicator buzzed. She ignored it. It buzzed again. She sighed and looked at the message. It was from Dr. Yoon Nari at the council. Everything is peaceful. The Thal are negotiating with the Kalari. 3 new species want to establish trade relations with Earth. Also, I need your recipe for those rice cakes. The council loved them. Salman smiled and put the communicator away. The galaxy was finally at peace. Humanity had a seat at the table. And somewhere out there, Crix was learning how to be a better person. It was not a perfect ending. There would be more challenges, more misunderstandings, more moments when humanity would need to remind the galaxy why they should not be threatened. But for now, there was peace, and that was enough. The stars shone bright above the Earth. Somewhere among them, 847 species, toward the Sol system and remembered the lesson they had learned. Humanity did not want war. They wanted friendship. They wanted peace. They wanted to share their cookies and their games and their stories with the galaxy. But if you forced them to fight, they would make sure you never forgot it. And the galaxy would never forget.